Well, I've only you and me now on the screen, so
Oh, no.
yeah.
They
What
really
happened?
are.
Because Jennifer's joined us and Victoria's still here.
Really?
Janice is still here.
I didn't go
Here's
anywhere.
Victoria again. Kathy left.
That's unnerving. Terry, do you
Oh,
need a
I
new
see Janice
computer?
again.
I am here, but I'm driving, so you won't be able to see me.
Is that Jennifer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I guess I need to. All right, so Jen's here, I'm here, Terry's here.
1, 2, 3, 4. Well, we've got a quorum of members. So yeah, and I haven't heard from Kim. Kim was supposed to be here tonight, or Charlie, or Karen. So should we give it a couple more minutes? Kathy, what do you think?
Yeah, because we do know Jerry's trying to get on and
That's kind of a small. Let's give it about 6:05 or so. And
okay.
well, anyway, Janice, good to see you. Haven't met you before, so welcome to the group.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah. Oh, there's Jerry. Look at that.
Yay. All right.
Good to see you, Jerry.
So
Hey.
that's everybody, but Mary, right?
Mary
Yeah,
is texting me saying that she has another meeting.
Okay.
Busy woman. So we have 4 board members.
There's 3 more. Kim, Charlie, and Karen.
What?
Charlie Carr, Karen Hay, and Kim Bria.
Present?
No,
No.
that are absent right now.
Right, right.
Here in spirit only, I hope.
Okay. Well, it's only 6:03. We're doing
Yeah,
well.
we're good. So Jerry, where did you travel to or from?
I'm in Grants Pass. Has anyone
Grants
ever
Pass.
been here?
Oh yeah, I've been there many times.
I've never been here before.
Yeah.
Oh,
We just got
I'm
here,
not.
logged on.
Yeah. That's Oregon Caves country.
That's what I'm told. I haven't had time to look up anything to do yet. We're meeting my college roommate here. They live in San Francisco, and this is a midpoint.
And you didn't go to Ashland, you went to Grants Pass.
I don't know if you can see. There's like a cool river over there, and I don't know.
Oh, you're right on the road.
Yeah, we
That's nice.
it's more about all of us being together than what we do.
Great. Well, I appreciate you being so dedicated to join us tonight instead of
Thank you, Jerry.
meeting
Yeah.
with your friends. That's great.
Well, they don't really like me anymore anyway, so.
Oh boy. Hmm.
Kathy, do you need to stay?
No, if you think you can handle it at that.
What do I need to do? Anything?
If somebody shows up, you need to allow them in. You know, it does the admit.
But you know what it is doing, and sorry to discuss all this technical stuff with everybody, but as long as we're still
Fine.
waiting a bit.
I'll start the recording and stuff before I hand it over to you.
It's saying allowing WebEx meetings to record your computer screen so you can share content in meetings. That's I haven't done that before.
I haven't seen that one before.
I don't have anything up that no one should see, but it feels kind of weird. This is my personal computer, so
Just say no.
okay.
When in doubt.
Yeah, that feels weird.
Ow.
So do I need to do anything then, Kathy? No, just right?
No, I'll turn the host over to you, and when Terry starts the meeting, I'll start the recording, and then if anybody shows up, if you would please admit them.
That works.
Okay. Well. Yeah, I'm kind of concerned. Kim, I thought sure was going to be here since he was part of the subject of discussion tonight.
Yeah. Well, have you tried texting her?
Not yet. What a novel thought. Okay. I poked her. Well,
Shall we roll it?
yeah, I have a feeling a couple of members won't even show up. So yeah, why don't we get started? So y'all, welcome to the May 20th, 2021 meeting of the West Glen Sustainability Advisory Board. It's now 6:06. So I thank everybody for attending. And for starters, why don't we go around and introduce ourselves? And since I'm talking, I'll start. I'm Terrence Shoemaker, co-chair of this auspicious group. I see Victoria is next.
So
You're just introducing yourself, that's all.
am I starting?
Yeah, no, you're
Okay,
next.
because we're all in different orders on each other's screens.
That's right. I go by my screen here, so.
So just tell who's after me. So
Yeah.
I'm going to say that every month I say I've been planting more natives, and I'm going to say I had to stop because my knee and
Oh,
my
we're just introducing ourselves. We'll check in later.
I'll do that. I'm Victoria Meyer.
Okay, good. I
Sorry
see
about that.
Jerry next.
I'm Jerry Gabrielatos, the city manager in West Linn.
Very good. And I see Janice next.
Janice Olson, and I'm a new member.
Excellent. Glad to have you, Janice. And I don't see Jennifer, but her name's up there.
Hi, it's Jennifer Harmon. I'm a board member.
Very good. Okay, well, thank you all for being here today. And as an order of business, I have a couple of new items I would like to insert into the agenda. And I don't know if we need a unanimous approval on this, but I forgot to insert a new item, number 9. That's to review action items that we should do right away. And then let's see, and then to review after our check-ins, review the previous action items. It's just, I suggest we just take a few minutes to try and do that because we do have a lot to discuss tonight if we can. So what we first should do, if we can, is approve the minutes from the last meeting. That would be the April 15th meeting. And I assume everyone got a copy of that because Kathy sent out links to all the documents. So any comments on the minutes from last meeting?
They look fine to me.
Okay. I had a minor correction. That was agenda item 8 should actually be agenda topic 7. And 9 should be 8. That's minor, and I've made a edit on that, so I'll correct that as soon as I send it off. So,
Thank you.
hearing no corrections or comments, I'll hear a motion to approve the last meeting's minutes.
Let's approve them. I move that we approve the meetings minutes.
Okay,
I'll second that.
it's been moved and seconded to approve last meeting's minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Good. Nay? Very good. Minutes are approved. There are no guests here, so we don't have any public comment. So we'll move on to item 4, which are check-ins. And just for the good of the cause, I assume everybody but me probably knew that Janice was the new member. So Janice, what we do before each meeting is just take a couple of minutes and check in and tell everybody if you have anything you want to mention about what you've done or what you haven't done regarding sustainability otherwise. So why don't we start with you, Janice?
Well, I have lived here in the area and in West Linn from 2005 to 2015. I was absent for 4 years up into Boise. No, I hated Boise, just letting you know. But I was a caretaker for my sister who passed away I was her only sibling, and that's why I was up there. I was able to get back into my same condominium, Summerlin Apartments, in March of last year, and now I'm back to getting back involved into the community. So
Thanks.
that will the extent. I do have children and grandchildren, Beaverton and Newburgh, so that's why I've come back.
Excellent. Glad to have you on the group. Thank you.
Thank you.
Victoria, any check-in newsworthy notes?
Sure, took the electric car as far as Oysterville last weekend.
What a deal.
Yeah,
Is
plugged it in overnight in a regular 110 socket. It took almost a full day to recharge it on a 110, but that was fine. Got to
Great.
visit my stepdad, so that was great.
What flavor electric car do you have?
It's a B banana Bolt,
Bolt. Okay,
Chevy Bolt.
excellent. That's great. Great. Jennifer, got anything to report or say?
So Kimberia and I did meet regarding the videos. We nailed down our topics, wrote a project brief, and I actually approached the broadcast journalism teacher at Westland High, Glenn Craik. He was not able to fit it into his curriculum this year, but is open to incorporating it next year for the videos for students to produce. So that's kind of where it sits now, but I have no problem if someone wants to suggest that we go to community college to do it, or if we just want to wait until the fall and ask the students to produce those. And then on another note, I recycled 2 computers. That felt good.
Excellent. Okay, great. Thank you. Regarding the videos, it's probably an item for discussion later, so that's great. Jerry, anything to report, talk about?
Not at this time. Thank you.
Okay, great. Myself, I've been keeping track of the Ridwell situation. Anybody familiar with Ridwell, the recycling company? I think they started in Seattle, trying to get into West Linn.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a bit of a problem with them because evidently they didn't go through proper channels to get the proper license. So there was a lot of consternation on Facebook, thinking the county was just clamping down on them unfairly. It's not the case. That is an ongoing process right now, and I've been invited to a meeting with Eben Polk of the Sustainability Office in Clackamas County on the 24th to kind of clear up some things, and I will report on that later. But Ridwell does engage in picking up recyclables of plastics of various types that aren't picked up curbside. So I'll report on that later when I have more information. Okay. So I just got a message from Kim, said she'd be here in a few minutes. So that means what we need to do is to review the action items from past meetings. And that's going to, some of these, I think, based on the publication of the new council goals, we're going to have to probably look at structuring our year accordingly. So I'm going to go through, if you've got the minutes from the last meeting, and all that was published, given to you as links by Kathy in the invitation she sent out. I'd like to kind of blaze through these pretty quickly. And if it's something, and Jerry, you're involved in several of them, if you think it's something that based on what we're going to do as far as adjusting our goals to council goals, if these things should be either put on the back burner or just stricken right now, let me know. The first one was Jerry continued to work on right-of-way, unimproved right-of-way, park open space, overlay map, etc. Do you think that's something that needs to be pursued right now, or just strike that right now until we reestablish our goals?
I would say strike it and reestablish. And one of the things I would just convey for the group, because I was obviously at all the goal setting sessions and have
Yeah.
had conversations with council members. We're trying to work with council so that each CAG has goals that come from council, so that everybody's on the same page.
Mhm.
And if you look through the council goals, I think that you'll see a few of them are related to sustainability.
Yes, they are.
And I feel like that can be where this group can go over the next year or so. That felt right to me, but I'll leave that to the group.
Yeah. Well, I kind of felt the same way, Jerry, because we've had these, all of these little action items hanging around for an age, and it kind of seemed to me to be getting in the way. And I personally feel that if we kind of wipe that slate clean and get rid of that, a lot of that niggling stuff, and get on to our main topic tonight of prioritizing our goals based on council goals, I think there'd be less confusion in the group as to.
I think that's a great idea. And then from a staff and council perspective, I can argue that this time that staff would spend on items that, how do I phrase this? Staff's going to be working on the council goals, and then we look to the SAB to provide advice or help us bring those things across the finish line.
Yeah.
Mary's usually at a lot of meetings, and she's at all of these meetings, and she's at another meeting tonight. But Mary had recommended a few of those goals related to sustainability that we can talk about tonight. So I feel like we're in a good place as the SAB. So
Yeah.
and I would just add, I know there's one goal that I had on the list. I did talk to Ken Warner. We water our parks as much as we need to. If the grass ever goes brown, we get complaints about that. We never overwater, and I talked to him on that goal. Sorry to jump ahead, but I know that's up there, and
Mhm.
I'm not able to. I don't usually have just one screen, but I know that we'll get to that. Sorry. Please.
Right. Yeah, well, all of the action items that I'm looking at, I don't think there's anything on here that would suffer if we just struck it from the list and just start clean tonight with our goals based on council goals. And looking at those, a lot of these I've kind of checked off and put question marks by anyway. So do I hear any objections from the crew about doing that, just kind of starting with a clean slate tonight as far as action items?
I have a question.
Yeah.
As long as they stay in the notes from last month, we still know what we had been thinking of. It should work.
Mhm.
When I'm keeping notes for this, under status, I just leave it blank then? Or put future?
Tell you what, I have gone through and edited some and struck some. So why don't we'll still keep some of them in the action items that may be important, and then in the draft, I propose in the draft minutes that we send out to everyone that we get input from people as to what needs to stay, but I think most of them can go.
So
And some of them have already been done, and some are not going to get done.
okay,
Does that make any sense?
I guess.
No. You guys?
We'll look at it later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Good enough. Okay, since Kim isn't here yet, item number 6, and Jerry, I'm gonna kind of point this towards you. That item number 6 is the proposal to council for leaders in sustainability, Clean Cities Coalition, and West Coast Electric Fleets. One of the action items was for me to submit the proposal that Victoria did so nicely regarding leaders in sustainability, but I held off on purpose because there were those three things that were in our goals that we submitted. And Jerry, I'm wondering, since the Leaders in Sustainability proposal, the Clean Cities Coalition, which only costs $300 to join, and the West Coast Electric Fleets Organization, which is free to join, I'm wondering if we should just submit that proposal for those three bullet items to council. And all it requires is a lead person on the part of the city to be the contact person for those. And the Clean Cities Coalition, the West Coast Electric Fleets are basically resources for the city, really good resources for the city. And you've probably seen the Leaders in Sustainability is a checklist of things that could be done in different city buildings and departments. Do you think, I was thinking that the proposal that Victoria wrote for Leaders in Sustainability, if we could just add Clean Cities Coalition and West Coast Electric Fleets items to that and submit it to council, would that be appropriate since they're really low-hanging fruit as kind of a starter that gives us a base of information and resources on which to accomplish other goals? Any thoughts on that, Jerry?
I think that's fine.
Yeah. Okay, so Victoria, I will probably add a couple of things to that proposal that you so nicely did and send it to everybody. And Jerry, as far as proposals like that, in the past, I know we just submitted them to council, but to be sure that we're appropriate when we have a proposal like that, should it be first sent to you and Kathy or sent directly to city council?
Usually anything that makes its way to council kind of comes through Kathy and I anyway. So it's fine if it goes through us. And then just so everybody knows too, if you ever send stuff to the city council at Westland address, that also goes to me, Kathy, Dylan, and John Williams. So we'll get it either way.
Okay.
But in terms of protocol, I mean, if you send it, we'll be sure that it gets to where it needs to go.
Okay, well, rather than duplicate things, maybe it'd be best just to send it to you and Kathy, and then it can be
Perfect.
sent to the appropriate.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So that takes care of that. Okay, the next two items, I hope I'm not, does anybody have any comment about anything so far? I don't want to monopolize this discussion. But the next two items that we've got, items number 7 and 8, I think, well, they both go together and it's going to involve a bit of work on our part and maybe some work individually. And that is review council and SAB goals for 2021 and to list and prioritize new SAB goals for 2021.
Ooh.
So that's a big chunk to chew. And I think, well, I don't think I know, but it's going to involve some reading and research on our part, the SAB's part, to actually get familiar with what's involved in those two items first. So one is I just had them, is our SAB goals. Oh, is that Kim's there?
Yeah.
Kim? Kim is here. That's everyone. Welcome, Kim. Can you hear us? I can't hear you.
Yes,
Okay.
Yep. Can hear you.
Okay, good. Okay, just to introduce, Kim, have you met Janice Olson yet? She's a new member. I can't hear you, Kim. Can't hear you. No dice yet?
Jerry, do you have a control for muting and unmuting?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you now, Kim.
Okay, it's with my microphone on the control.
Okay, anyway. Janice Olson is the new member. Janice, Kim is one of our members here.
Hello. Hi.
So actually, Kim, before, if I may, jump back in the agenda momentarily. A bit of history. The SAB has 7 members, and in the charter it states needs a co-chair and can have co-chairs. And for the last couple of years, we've had co-chairs, myself and Cynthia Ellison, who left us. So I think it worked well, correct me if I'm wrong, of having co-chairs. Someone who can take notes, person conducts the meeting, one can take notes, and then it switches. And that's the way Cindy and I did it. And also I think it's good fail-safe in case one of the co-chairs cannot be present. There's always someone who can conduct the meeting. I think it's a good way to go. I'm all for keeping it. Is any discussion on that topic?
Mm.
No discussion yet? Okay.
It worked well. I mean, I thought the way you did it worked really well.
I think so. So to
I
that
think-
end, I am going to make a nomination, if I think that's appropriate, for a co-chair. But let me back up first. I have held this position. I'm willing to stay in this position unless someone else would like to put themselves forward to step into these shoes. I know Kim has expressed interest in being co-chair, and therefore I was going to nominate Kim as co-chair. And I was wondering if there was a second and or any discussion. Victoria.
Second that.
Love the energy, Kim, that you bring to meetings, the knowledge that you have, your bubbly enthusiasm. You call it geekiness, but I call it enthusiasm.
I do too.
So, so I would be delighted if you would do this. And I think it's terrific. So I second it.
Very good. It's been moved and seconded that Kim Bria would be co-chair along with myself for the SAB. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Let's vote. All in favor of Kim Bria being co-chair of the SAB?
I.
Aye, aye.
Aye, aye, aye. All opposed? Hearing no opposition. Kim, welcome to the barrel.
Woo,
Okay.
woo, woo, woo.
All right, so be it. Okay, Kim, take over. I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. Yes, next time. Okay. Okay, glad you guys have a sense of humor. All right. So anyway, regarding the goals, there are 2 sets of goals, and I'm hoping you all have seen them. It's our goals that we established, the SAB goals, and there's a document, and it was in the documents that Kathy sent to you, or the links to this. I'm hoping everyone has had a chance to review our goals. And also the city council goals, which Kathy put a link to in what she sent. And I think it's very important that we all read and are familiar with the city council goals. So not pinning anybody down, but has anyone not had a chance to look through those city council goals?
I haven't done it yet.
Okay. Does everyone have that document in front of them, either in paper or on the screen?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Okay, if you don't, if you go to Kathy's, Kathy Molesky's email that she sent us, does everyone have access to that? It has the meeting link on it. Okay, down in the middle, it says click here for meeting information. If you click there, then it will open up, a page with all the supporting documents. And you can click on and open the appropriate documents, SEDs and city council goals. So what may happen tonight is for us to review the city council goals. And so if you could all get that document one way or another in front of you, that would be great. Take your time. This is an important activity, so I want to make sure everybody's on the same page, literally and figuratively. So let me know when you've got it. The city council. Victoria's got it, I've got it. Jerry probably knows it frontwards and backwards.
I like the colors.
Yeah.
I mean, I did read about it in the paper this morning.
Mhm. So when you've got them in front of you, one way or another, let me know.
If anyone has questions, I'm happy to answer them about the goals in general or specifically related to the SAB.
Great. Well, I know there's a reason for all of the advisory boards to have a staff liaison and a council liaison. It keeps us directly connected to the city so we don't stray too far, which we're in danger of doing there. So, Janice, were you able to find them?
Yes, I've got
Okay.
them.
Very good. Kim? I can't hear you, Kim.
This is Jennifer. I have them.
Jennifer's got them. Kim's got them?
Yes, I do.
Okay, excellent. So everybody's got them. So if you notice, the third bullet at the top is a general goal, sustainable and supporting a healthy environment. That's a real general statement, and I hope what we in the city can do does support that. Looking down into goal 2, the third item, make improvements to the community development code. Well, that sounds innocuous enough, but it appears to be one that would require us first to find out what is in that code that maybe applies to us. So from my point of view, I think that's one thing that requires some research and reading on our own individually. Is I haven't read it before, but I just started looking at it today. Is anyone else intimately familiar besides Jerry with that document?
I'm not intimately familiar myself.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad someone is just as ignorant as I am about that document because it was new to me. Has anybody else had a chance to look at that? And don't be embarrassed if you haven't, because it's okay. This is new. So if I may be so bold as to propose that an action item for all of us, before we even try to think about making improvements to the community development code, is to become familiar with it and to, in the same way we did our sustainability strategic plan, is to read through it and look at it and see what in there. Just kind of do a brainstorm on your own and highlight items. See, okay, is this something that SAB should be involved in? Is this something that we could affect some change in? Is this something that needs to be changed or anything like that? So as homework first, I would think that might be one thing for us to do that we cannot do tonight in this meeting. Is any comment on that? Does anybody have anything to say about that proposal as far as our work? Yeah, Victoria.
How do we access this code?
It's on the website and I had it up here. You can just search on the city website for
Okay.
the community development code and it pops up. And it's sometimes some things on the city website are a little clunky to get to. So when you first get it, it really, there's nothing there really. And there's a little, let's see. Yeah, there's little arrows. When you get to that page, there's like arrows at the top and one that points to the right. If you click that, it goes through the different chapters and pages of the code. So I think what might be important on that topic is for all of us to do that, to poke around and maybe to chat with each other, either email or whatever, and say, hey, I found this. I can't find this. How do I do this? And I'm sure Kathy would be more than happy to help also. She's just a rock star when it comes to documents. So anyway, do you all think, as far as establishing a base level of knowledge about city documents, that we all should do this?
We should, I mean, but this is something that, I don't remember, I don't recall seeing this in what our recommendations to the council were, so if they're asking for this, I just want to make sure that we're reviewing what they're specifically interested in, if it's the whole
Yeah.
community development code, or if it's, I mean, like, we can do that. But I want to make sure I'm receiving the most current copy, and so that we can discuss the areas where we would recommend improvements in alignment with the adopted goals.
Yeah, and in theory, it said on the website that that community development code is supposed to be updated every month. And it's also, if you look, I'm looking at the city council goals. If you look at goal number 3, that's support a sustainable and healthy environment for all. The 4th item, request that Sustainability Advisory Board recommend improvements to the community development code.
Oh,
So that is a charge directly from the council to us. And that's why I thought that if they have asked the SAB to recommend improvements, which that involves all sorts of development, which is sustainability issues are rife in that document, for sure. But in order to recommend improvements, we have to know what's in there in the first place. Does that make any sense to you all?
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Since that is a
especially-
charge, go ahead, sorry.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Victoria.
Oh, it makes a lot of sense since you have pointed out, I mean, obviously you've read this more carefully than I have, that this 4th, I don't know, bullet, charge, whatever it is,
Yeah,
yellow box, since we are named particularly to look at this, then we need to do that.
yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. It's not random.
No, it's not something I just thought I'd throw on you guys because we have nothing to do.
Right. So I would ask then, instead of saying, is this something we need to become involved in? Would that be part of the recommendation then after we've read through it? Yes, we need to, or no, we don't?
Yeah, well, like I said, if we all are at least somewhat familiar with what's in there, then I think we'll be better able to follow through with item 4 to recommend improvements to that code.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we get down into the granular nature of it after we're all somewhat familiar with it. So is that, I don't want to overstep my bounds here, but is that something you all think we should do individually first before we?
I definitely think we need to do it. I mean, this is I mean, if you look at the goals that are on here, that one's probably the most comprehensive, and we would need to familiarize ourselves with that as soon as possible, so we really know what areas that need further discussion.
Yeah. Okay.
It'll be fun, you guys.
Yeah. I think it's going to be educational for us to be aware of what actually is guiding the city as far as community development. You know, and isn't that what we're all about, is to try and point the city in a sustainable development manner? At least one aspect of what we're doing, I think.
I don't think it'll be as overwhelming as you think. I just finished class today. I'm taking, I'm getting certified to be an ENVSP professional. It's an Envision sustainability professionals it's for built infrastructure, it's for public works and infrastructure. And it has all kinds of criteria that reflects the things we're doing, the quality of life, project impacts, that kind of thing. So I won't go into the weeds with it, but that goes hand in hand with what we're tasked to do with this. And I think we may be able to pluck out some of the more some things that will really mesh well with the city moving forward.
Okay. Okay, pause for the cause. I just see that Charlie popped in. Charlie, you want to introduce yourself here?
Hi, everybody. I'm Charlie, one of the very absent, apparently, members of the Sustainability Advisory Board. I apologize for my lateness, but I am here now.
Okay, good. And Charlie, you may notice Janice Olson on your screen. She's our newest member, so we welcomed her to the fold. We are currently now discussing the City Council Goals and Initiative document. Do you have access to that? Okay, very good. And I was going through it so we could find the things that directly related to SAB. And we had talked about goal number 2, improvements to the community development code, and we moved to goal number 3, was the big one as far as we're concerned. That's to support a sustainable and healthy environment for all. And there are a few of those items that relate directly to us. I think specifically items 2 through 5. And number 2 is to use the capital improvement program. I'm sure that's what CIP is, to build out the city's electric charging infrastructure and vehicle fleet. And I'm sure Kim and Jerry that will mesh right into the Transportation Advisory Board charge. Is that correct? As far as the fleet goes?
Well, we also adopt, I mean, the council approved to join Clean Cities Coalition, and they can totally help us navigate that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the first item that we mentioned early in the meeting, is that we're going to send the proposal out for Leaders in Sustainability, Clean Cities Coalition, West Coast electric fleets. Send that proposal to the city to join those. And I don't know how much we should get into the details of that, but let's get back to that. The item number 3 is pretty big. And this is a council goal. It says adopt a climate action plan in coordination with Clackamas County, other local agencies, community members, and the Sustainability Advisory Board's most recent appendix update. In review, it was Appendix C, titled Climate Action Plans, that was approved by the city in a resolution in the last council meeting. That, if you just read that, seems like a tall order, but adopting a climate action plan, I know Clackamas County is currently working on theirs. Jerry, do you know, as far as the city goes, is there someone charged with working with the county, or just to work on a plan for the city?
I'm not aware that anyone is currently assigned to work on this, but that's where we are right now. We just so everybody knows, I think we just approved these council goals maybe a meeting or 2 ago. It wasn't that long, and then we have just been going through the budget like crazy this week. So after we get done with that, I feel like all staff will have a little bit more time.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd share that.
Yeah, because goals were.
Doesn't that item require staff time? I mean, that's actually really, I would imagine it would definitely require staff time for us to make recommendations on that.
It would, but I think now that goals have been approved by the council, we can get staff time, and I'm here, so that helps.
That's good.
You heard it, folks. Jerry's here. We're doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So that Number 3 is actually kind of a big mouthful right there. And our Appendix C update pulled out everything out of the Sustainability Strategic Plan that related to climate action. Looks like Jerry's going on a walk. I'm jealous, Jerry. And
It's not bad at all.
yeah. Okay, let's just to review these topics. Number 4, we just talked about community development code is going to require us to each look at that community development code, get familiar with it. And number 5, I think, relates to us in a way that's protect riparian and Goal 5 wetland areas when planning waterfront development. So I'm not sure what part we can play in that. Any comment there before we get into some
Isn't that regulatory already?
Probably so.
Jerry?
I'm not sure. I know that one was important to Councillor Baumgartner, and I can revisit it. I can find out a little bit more about what she means when I talk to her next. She's at another meeting tonight.
Okay. So, just kind of a little review for those of you who popped in late is that we have decided to totally restructure our activities and goals for the rest of the year, maybe this year and the next, based on city council goals and our goals, and obviously what's in the Appendix C for the Sustainability Strategic Plan. So therefore, we've looked at the city council goals. If you've all got access to the SAB goals document that was sent or linked by Kathy, and let's look over those and see if those are still valid, and if so, how much are they valid right now? So first of all, does everyone have those either digitally or analog in front of you? They were linked. Everybody's got them. If you don't have them, I'll give you a minute to find them. You know, they were linked by Kathy on the email she sent with the invite. Sustainability goals and staff positions, the name of the document. Anybody need some more time to find them? Okay. If you've got them, let's take a look at goal number 1, and we just discussed that. The Leaders in Sustainability Program. And if you also look down at goal number 3, which strategy 1 and 2 is West Coast Electric Fleets and Clean Cities Organization. We agreed, and Jerry confirmed that it would be a good idea to submit the proposal that Victoria sent to you that she put together for Leaders in Sustainability to include those other 2, Clean Cities and West Coast Fleets, include those in that proposal, since the total to join those 3 is only $300. And we're going to submit that proposal. So that actually takes care of goal number 1 and goal number 3 in our 2021 goals. And Jennifer just mentioned that her and Kim had been looking at this sustainability education series, videos, etc. So that is something I think that is sitting on the burner. The other goals, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. I am not sure, based on city council goals, if we can prioritize those within, this new plan that we're going to set up. So does anybody have any thoughts about those? And I know, Jerry, if you have access to those right now.
Which set of goals? I'm sorry.
That's the sustainability goals document that was sent out.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
I'm specifically looking at goals 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. I think goal 5 may have been, was probably something that's included in the council goals.
I was just thinking as I'm looking at this, would it be helpful for the group if I just asked a member of the team to talk about what we're doing in practice as it relates to all of these things?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, yeah, I mean, that's what I think too.
Sure.
Because I mean, like I mentioned last time, I know a lot, I feel like a lot of these things are being done in practice and maybe not codified. But I'm happy to bring this to members of the team and just ask where we are on these items. So I can do that. That'll be my to-do for the next meeting.
Okay, so
Perfect.
as far, let me recap what you said. As far as goals 5 through 9, you're going to find out what, if anything, is being done by staff regarding those.
Yeah, I think, and maybe we'll just create this as sort of like a tracking log if we update it quarterly or things of that nature. Because it looks like, yeah, I think that would help the group.
Okay. So, and actually, a couple of those things were mentioned as far as in the city goals. So I don't think we're too off base. Yeah, okay. Well, I think that sounds good. Does anybody have any comment about those? And the direction that Jerry mentioned? No?
I think it will help, Jerry, if you can fill us in on that. I think that'll let us know what's already happening and what isn't. So sounds like a plan.
Okay. Well, yeah, once we know that, then it'll probably give us a good direction to go as far as the council goals are. So I'm thinking I'm getting myself worked into a tizzy here, looking at the council goals and thinking of all the things that could be done, need to be studied up on. And I know the topic was to list and prioritize new goals for 2021 based on ours in the council goals. And I'm not sure that can be accomplished tonight. So I'm looking for some input as far as direction, because the goal number 3 from the council is fairly large. So in order for me not to talk so much, does anybody have any ideas of direction we should go, whether we should brainstorm tonight on all the goals, prioritize tonight, or to do more research individually in the community development code, and then try to prioritize next time? So, is there any comments?
I think it has been helpful in the past when we email each other at least once before the next meeting, and not just put it off to the next meeting and say, okay, I'll read, because it's just a month from now is too long to not to retain the information and not act. So I would feel more comfortable to have. I do well with homework.
Yeah, likewise. That's
You
why
know?
I gave you some homework already. Yes.
And homework and due dates. That's been my life for 45 years. So yeah, I'm comfortable with saying you need to read this and this, and send out an email to everybody if you've got any ideas about what you've read, and do that within the next couple of weeks. Because if you say 3 weeks, then it takes 3 weeks to do it.
Yeah, that's right. My mantra is any project expands to fit the time allotted to it. So
Exactly.
Jerry, any thoughts? I know you've got some good ideas as far as trying to get this crew doing something that's meaningful rather than spinning our wheels. And I know we'd all like to be doing something meaningful. As far as homework.
I was thinking too, I mean, if you if you review the community development code, I can ask a member of the staff to attend the next meeting, and we can ask, somebody who's more familiar with it, our in-house community development code expert, to attend the next meeting and just walk us through things, or we can come equipped with questions and ask them of him or her. I'm happy to make that arrangement.
Okay.
I
And
think
that would be, yeah, go ahead, Kim, I'm sorry.
I think that would be incredibly helpful to have them walk us through it in the highlights, particularly areas, because they can also update us on areas that haven't been revisited for a while. And if I heard you right, Jerry, you're gonna go back to staff to see where we're at with the goals that we had submitted to city council, the goals 1 through 9, and where we're at in that process, because one of the things we talked about in our last meeting was having baseline energy audits. If we don't have those very basic things, we don't have areas to compare to. So I think it's really critical to understand where the staff is, and then also really what the council's intentions are in these goals, because on the council initiative number 1, to improve public and multimodal transportation, I know that TriMet and Intracity Shuttle had been visited many times in different fashions over the last several years. That's its own, we're an advisory board. That comes back to staff too. And then like the bike lanes with Highway 43 and the sidewalks, that's there as part of the project. And I had testified for funding for that at one point, along with others, and I thought we got funding for that, but we're waiting on the rest of the funding for Highway 43, because there's funding for the actual road, and then there's funding for the multimodal bike and pedestrian improvement. So I just want to understand. I think it would help us all to understand what more can we do, or what more do we need to revisit on these things, and where are they at with Public Works. And then the same thing with the Willamette Falls Drive concept plan. That I thought was approved, the amendment to that. I could be mistaken. So just, if you can clarify these 5 council initiatives of what their intentions are and what the expectations are in comparison of the goals that we recommended.
Sorry, I'm confused because I have too many windows open. Which goals are you referencing?
So the SAB board submitted goals 1 through 9, and you're gonna check on those.
Right.
Where the staff is with those.
Sure.
And then the council just tasked us with, on this new document, 1 through 5, and have some clarification on what we can do and what involves staff input for those goals. Because they're not matching what's on what we submitted. I mean, they fit, but they're not, they're different.
What they're different from what?
If we go back to the document that says February 2nd, proposal submitted, we've talked about it before, but we didn't have that on there as the priority for the year. And if they would like that to be the priority, I would like to understand where staff is with that.
Are we asking about the goals that are 1 through 9 that were submitted by, or the sustainability goals, or the council goals?
To compare the sustainability goals with the new council goals.
So you want an update from staff about where we are on the council goals as well? Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's still, they're all good goals.
Mm-hmm.
But staff has done some of that work already, so they may be in a substantial place.
I can do that.
Because otherwise, it's really difficult for us to prioritize.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, I think that's good because, Jerry said that you're going to find out from staff about the SAB goals 5 through 9, and what Kim was saying also about the council goals. Just looking at goal number 3 for the council goals alone. If I could read it again, adopt a climate action plan in accordance with Clackamas County, other local agencies, community members, and the Sustainability Advisory Board's most recent appendix update. Well, our appendix C update is huge as far as items and tasks and goals and strategies. Huge. So that kind of leaves me in a tizzy. So, where do we go from here? That's a lot in there. Without some guidance is to pin down what areas the council really considers doable, and where does the council need feedback from the SAB on those and that appendix. So yeah, for me, that's rather, I kind of wonder where to go unless we've got some prioritized direction initially from the council. Is that kind of where you were leaning, Kim, is getting some more direction?
Yeah, because what I'm seeing here really is work for a full-time sustainability
Yeah.
staff person. So I just wanted to make sure to clarify what the expectations are and where we are at, because almost all of these require staff time, and that's fine, but at least we can have an assessment of where they are in that process, both, like Jerry said, both on the goals 1 to 9 that we submitted and these new 1 through 5 from the council.
Okay. Victoria and I are both former teachers, so we know the value in homework and research. And I think, and like Kim was talking, needing baselines for energy audits and other audits so we can determine where to go. Doing some homework for us, I think, is critically important. And I think maybe, Janice, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the Sustainability Strategic Plan for West Linn.
No,
Okay,
no.
specifically the new Appendix C, which is Climate Action Plan items.
Okay.
I think that document and the Community Development Code document, and carefully looking over the council goals are homework items that we need to do. And Jerry's obviously going to do some homework to try and poll city staff to find out where we are with certain of our goals. Victoria, you mentioned the homework. Do you have any ideas of what, and Kim also, and Charlie, any other areas that we should be doing our homework? Because I don't think we're going to be able to do any prioritizing of goals tonight until we have a bit more information and knowledge. And
Okay.
Victoria.
Note taking here, you mentioned 3 things, but I can only type so fast. So I have that we need to look over the community development code and Appendix C again. And what was that third puppy?
Well, it was actually there's 4 that would to go over the SAB goals document. Get familiar with those, and also the city council goals.
Okay.
And yeah, I think we need to get familiar with those documents.
By when? By
Got some dates. I think is the community development code. What do you think should be top to do first?
let's do that first, since we haven't seen it at all.
It's a new one to everybody, I think, the community development code. Okay.
Folks
Go
who are
ahead.
new are gonna have to come up to speed on the other things, at least by next month. Shoot.
So if we are all going to become familiar with the community development code, since we're charged with making improvements to that or suggesting improvements to that, how do you think we should proceed as far as getting back together, let's say in a couple of weeks, and someone being the receptor of the topics within that code that we should address. Do you think we should look through that code and find out the topics that maybe we could affect or address, highlight them, and exchange that information? Jerry?
I was just thinking that I can just check with Chris Myers used to be the SAB liaison, and I'd like to just maybe check with him, and I'm sure he'd probably be able to, off the top of his head, suggest some places that we could start that work within the community development code, and I could have that for everybody next week.
That would be great. Mm-hmm.
I
Sure.
just pulled it up, and if you could please have him go over, because just pulling up chapter 1 is title, purpose, compliance, interpretation, severability. Please.
It's enormous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
yeah.
It's
Yes.
big. There's a lot there.
And
Yeah.
this would also involve the planning commission.
Yep. Jerry, I think that's a good idea to check with Chris, and maybe he could help pick out areas that would be within our purview to look at, so that we don't have to wade through all the weeds,
Of course.
you know. But
Happy to
that,
do
I don't
that.
think that should preclude all of us from actually looking through that document, scanning it, and seeing areas where we think it would be educational for us, and it'll be educational for me for sure to do that. So that would be one piece of homework. So I think in the meantime, we could still all look through it and maybe highlight areas, but it still would be great to get Chris's input on that document. Sound reasonable, everybody? Your first
Agree.
item of homework?
Agree.
Okay.
I want to add that I'm going to really need to be doing some of this by email, because I will not be near a computer for our next meeting. And it's summertime and folks are breaking out of COVID. So if we can at least check in by email before we have a meeting, that will be helpful to me.
Sounds good.
Also, I was not here last time, but the time before, we had mentioned like right away with GIS stuff. And I wanted to mention that I reached out to the GIS department, and they said that they had no idea what I was talking about, and they had nothing for me. So I have been looking on Clackamas County's website, and I found a copy of a print map with right of ways that I could maybe like transfer over, but I actually feel like somebody should have a physical like just file that I could make a map with of right of ways, but I can't find it.
We've got a map of that, but we decided early in the meeting that as far as all of our previous little to-do items and action items, we're going to push aside because we're restructuring our goals based on city council goals, and that may fall under something eventually, but
Yeah, I feel like it could fit in with like part of like at least our sustainability goals of goal like 9 and goal of the looking for wetlands and streams. So that way we could build, and also with the goal gardening with natives, goal 4. That, you know, that could help reduce some kind of usage of the right of way areas and like build up more native plants that might be better for our ecosystems and retain that like wetland process areas. So I feel like we could all mix it in together. I'm down to make all the maps. But anyway, I just figured I'd update y'all on at least that I tried to last 2 times ago.
good. Okay. Well, when we get our goals firmed up in the directions we want, then we'll put you in the lead as map maker.
I have a question. Would it be all right for Charlie to go ahead and start on that, since it's going to take a while?
Nothing will prevent anyone from doing any research in any area they choose to do.
Right.
And I know Chris Myers supplied us with a unimproved right-of-way map. So
Awesome. If somebody has that and could just email it to me or like Google
Yeah.
Drive it, because that's exactly who responded to my email and was like, I don't know what you're talking about. So that'd be great.
well, if you don't have Chris Myers' email, I'll send it to you, but he would be the first one to go to, because he
Okay.
supplied us with copies of that map in the past. Okay.
All right,
Very-
that's interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the as far as homework, continuing in that vein.
Jerry, are you able to get us the answers on the community development code within the next week? So that, and email it to us so that at least we can determine if we need to review that? I mean, we can still look through it. But
Yes,
so
sir.
that we know what the target is.
And Jerry's muted right now. Still there, Jerry? Lost your video. There he is. Oh, you're muted, Jerry.
I had to step away for a second.
That's quite all right.
Was there a question for me?
Yeah, Kim.
Oh,
Are you able to get us on the information on the community development code of what we need to be looking at in that by next week, so that if we're gonna do homework, that we know, I mean, we can look through the community development code, but like you said, it's huge, and what the focus of that would be.
sure, I can do that.
Okay, in a week, does that work? Because then at least, you know, if you email us, then we're like, okay, focus on this chapter or these sections.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Just to pin down a few chapters would be helpful. For sure. Mhm. Okay, well, as far as the documents, then Jerry's going to check with staff about the SAB goals document 539, and then hopefully Chris Myers is going to provide some input to Jerry regarding the community development code areas that we should look at, which, like I said, does not prevent us from individually, cruising through that document just to get familiar with the topics that are there. So that's our homework. And also our own Appendix C in the Sustainability Strategic Plan. Those of you who are not familiar with it, I would encourage you all to read through it. I think it's only 3 pages. It's a condensation of all the climate action items that are contained in this strategic plan. That would be another thing for us all to be a little bit more than passingly familiar with, since the council charged one of their goals is to work on our appendix update items. So that's another piece of homework. And you think that's enough homework for a month? I think this is all foundational at this point. I think the SAB needs a good foundation to work from, because I hate to see us kind of spinning our wheels and thinking, oh, it'd be nice to plant trees here and do this, that, which maybe not be a major goal that we want to get onto. Planting trees is important, yes. But our homework will establish that foundation. Then I hope that we can start prioritizing our goals based on what we learn next time. Am I blowing smoke here, or is this sound reasonable? Sounds okay?
We're excited to hear back from you, Jerry.
Yeah. Yeah, looking forward to get some Jerry direction.
I couldn't tell if you said that sarcastically or not, Kim.
No, that's
okay.
serious.
Okay, good.
We're looking for official direction so we don't spin our wheels.
Yeah.
Rephrase that. Help us, Obi-Wan. You're our only hope.
Yeah.
All right. I'm happy to do that. You know, I mean, one of the things I've heard from the SAB, you know, in the times that I've been here, is about staff time. And, you know, if it's a council goal, then staff time can be spent on it. And, you know, I mean, I'm the city manager too, so I've got a little bit of say about how we can spend our time too, and I'm happy to invest it in advancing this group's work. I think it's important.
Great. And tagging along with that, Jerry, I know at the last council meeting when I did the presentation, and Mayor Walters asked you if there was funds for a staff position, and you said basically no, not at this time. And she also asked, well, would there be money to hire consultants if they were needed to work on a certain project? And you said there probably would be. So, well, correct me if I'm wrong. That's what I heard.
Well,
To pin you down there.
I think, I mean, we've been going over budgets quite a bit. I think in our next not this biennium, but the biennium after that, we're about 2.3 million in deficit in our reserves. So dollars are still going to be hard to come by, but I will push where I can and see what can be accomplished here.
Well, the reason I asked was that if in our establishing our goals, and as we move along and we encounter something that we feel really needs to be dealt with in more depth than maybe staff can give right now, if once we prioritize that one thing, whatever it may be, if then we could present it to you and say, hey, is it possible that we could hire a consultant to do this, whatever it is? So that is a remote possibility out there in the future.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So
with the disclaimer that everything will be to the extent our budget allows.
of course.
I think one of the important parts is, I know one of the important parts of the budget conversation, and we've talked about this before, is we've got the budget, based on our tax base, but we also have opportunities for funding outside of that budget in the form of grants, local, state, federal, and the infrastructure package that's coming has a very large sustainable element to it. So this is really one of the most important times to make sure we're positioning ourselves to receive federal money for projects that are identified that meet that criteria.
Exactly. And Kim, you are intimately familiar with that subject you just mentioned. And I think that's why establishing the foundation of not only leaders in sustainability, but Clean Cities Coalition and West Coast Electric Fleets, I think opens up resources for grants that Kim was talking about. And if there's a lead person on staff who's the point person to receive that information, they become aware, okay, this is available, even though the city may not have money, but there's grants out there. Having those resources in the first place, I think is really important, as Kim was saying. So that's why I strongly lobby for us joining those three organizations. So it opens us up to having those resources, which we may not be aware of right now. So that's one thing I personally, I know many of you are hoping, is that we can establish that base that the city is a member of those organizations so that it can tap into those resources. Okay. I think I've talked too much. We have our homework, right?
Yeah.
Do we think it's a good time to review that right now as far as what everybody's going to do for next time?
Yes, and I think we need to even prioritize the homework. So if somebody says, holy mackerel, I can't do all this, what should I do first?
Mm-hmm.
So, so that I can make notes of that prioritization.
And then that'll be based on what we hear back from Jerry in a week, correct? Thank you, Jerry.
So Victoria, if you could read us back those homework assignments.
Okay. Review the following: Appendix C, the SAB goals document, the city council goals, and study the community development code. And I have written by Thursday, June 3rd, by email, Jerry will check with Chris Myers, I don't know how to spell his name, for parts of the code for us to focus on by next week. I mean, I could have presented that a little better, but that's what my notes are.
Quite all right. We will not shoot the note taker.
Oh, please.
Uh, Okay, so that is something, when we hear back from Jerry, when he hears from Chris, we'll know kind of places to focus on the community development code. So I would say at the top of our homework would be the appendix C for new members, especially, and those of you who are not familiar, to get familiar with our appendix C in the sustainability strategic plan. Yay, no, throw it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's kind of why I put it as review for those of us who know of it, and the people who don't need to study it.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
So that's high on the priority list in addition to the community development code.
All right.
Okay. Anything else? The other two were just our goals, and I think, you know, that's not going to take long to read through our goals, and Jerry's going to work on those. The last ones, find out what's being done. And then the city council goals, be familiar with those. We've reviewed those today, so I think you're probably all quite familiar with those.
And my homework is to provide status reports on those goals, and then also have that conversation with Chris. I sent him an email while we were meeting. He and I will probably talk Monday. Is that my homework? Okay, good.
Sounds good.
Oh, I don't have that in my notes, so I'm glad you have that, Jerry.
Good. Okay, when Victoria gets the her draft minutes to me, I will go through and pull out all those little action items for everybody, which is not a lot, but it is a lot. And I'll send it out right away to everybody so you know where we're going and who's doing what. And I see cats on the screen occasionally.
Really?
Kim was a dog, Victoria was a cat. It was it's great fun. I love Zoom. Okay, so our homework is down. Everybody's got the task. Victoria's got any other action items that anybody was to do?
No.
And it's good. I was going to send Chris Meyer's email to Charlie.
Charlie, it's C Myers, MYERS at westlandoregon.gov.
Is Chris
Glad
with
you're
it?
good with that. Thanks, Jerry.
C as in Charlie. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, gang. I think we just about beat that one to death.
Oh, Terry, are you feeling a little less stressed out now that we've gone through this a bit? Because you were feeling.
Yeah, that was actually the reason for doing this, because I knew there seemed to be a lot there. And I also felt that we were kind of treading water in a stagnant pool. And it's good to have direction. At my age, it's really good to have direction. So,
Right.
So is everybody feeling okay about this direction that we have chosen for the next month? And we're happy to have Janice on board, and we definitely welcome Kim into her new leadership role. I feel sorry for you, Kim, and and so we've got a few minutes left. The last item on the agenda is items of interest from the staff liaison, which I think, Jerry, that's you. Do you have any other items of interest other than the year in grants pass?
I'm hoping that our next meeting might be in person. The library is opening. I'm meeting with their directors on Monday about reopening City Hall. I don't know if we're at reopening City Hall for public meetings yet, because, you know, everything is checking a OSHA guideline or a CDC regulation or the OHA's guidelines, and I just want to be sure that we're not putting anybody's health at risk. But I'm excited to get to meet all of you instead of just people on a screen.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy way to start a job. And then other items from the staff. I mean, this is my 4th meeting on 4 nights this week. We had 2 budget meetings. This isn't related to sustainability per se, but 2 budget meetings this week, and then also a meeting about meeting with the council, going over the recommendations from the OIR report. The OIR report was a response to the Michael Fesser tort claim, and also went over the recommendations from the Police Accountability Task Force. So I feel like things are going really well in Westland. I hope anyway. I hope you all feel that way.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I know it's been kind of a baptism by fire for you.
Yeah, pun intended, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and then
Nice.
we still have 33,000 cubic yards of tree debris at Mary S. Young that we're working on Plan B for.
That's
We-
baptism by ice.
Yeah.
I know.
Fire and ice.
Yeah, it's like Game of Thrones, right? So, we're the bids that let me go back. We put out an RFP for removal of that tree debris, expecting the bids to come back at about 160,000. They came back at 640,000, and I think 1.4 million.
Oh my
So
gosh.
we're on to trying to figure out how to get that debris removed. So,
Well, we need to advertise that there are lots of free chips at Mary S. Young for people to pick up, right?
yeah, I think we have been, and
Yeah,
and
you
I
have.
guess it's just not useful for anybody.
Yeah.
Maybe y'all could do a chip delivery service. Just drop them off at people's houses if they don't have vehicles.
We've thought of that, but honestly, if you get a chance to go by the park, you'll see it.
Yeah, it's huge.
It
I've
won't.
seen
It
it.
wouldn't make a dent.
Yeah.
Well, if anyone
Yeah.
wants to bring some to my house, I'm just too lazy to get in my trailer. Feel free.
Oh, okay. Good.
I was thinking maybe we could use it to help fill those holes in the Columbia River.
And the Columbia River,
Well, you know,
the wood chips.
yeah.
We
They'd
could create new islands.
Yeah. Wouldn't they float?
Okay, yeah, well, you have to do some anchoring there. All right. Well, thanks, Jerry. It's just about closing time. Does anybody have any last words of wisdom?
Thank you, Terry, for broaching this difficult conversation and hauling us through it. And I wasn't sorry that you did a lot of talking because I didn't know what to say.
Yeah. Well, I didn't either, and my memory's not so good. My wife told me if I ever got Alzheimer's, she'd never know it. So, so I need direction. All right, folks, it's been great. And Jerry, I hope your prognosis comes true about physically getting together. That would be great.
I hope so too.